Okay, well, just to do an introduction, I've never watched Kate Williams, any of his sketches and whatnot, but okay, I've watched a couple of shorts where he's making jokes and whatnot, but like I've never seen him in a much more serious tone. And I saw this TikTok where he was being interviewed by Larry King, and they were asking him a bunch of questions. Larry was asking him a bunch of questions, and they were so genuine, very real. He's a real dude.
On Larry
So I thought I could watch
King
the
now,
whole thing.
funny man Cat Williams.
First, Larry, I'd be remiss if I didn't say what a great pleasure this is to be with you. For a lifetime, you've been an exposer of substance. And my life was not going to be complete until I got to your table. I'm a diehard comedy supporter. I take seriously the fact that comedy is the bastion of Hollywood, that if it were not for our genre, that it could
Yeah.
not exist. It brings so much joy to the world. In order to be involved in the things these people are allegedly or actually involved in, it means you have to have a lot of cojones. You have to be willing to do things that most of us would go, you don't do that. It's not a big deal to ride in on a horse named Sassy, a pedophile,
Plus, secret
What?
talent.
clairvoyant.
You're clairvoyant,
Yes,
psychic.
yes.
Ooh. All next on Larry King Now.
I really want to just hear all this, to be honest with you. Larry King is one of the most respected interviewers out there, so
Welcome to Larry King Now. Our guest is Cat Williams,
really
stand-up
looking forward to
comedian,
this.
actor, rapper, singer. Cat's comedy specials have sold out arenas across the globe.
What is he
He's
there?
been featured on networks like BET and HBO. On the big screen, we've seen him in films like Friday After Next, Norbit, and First Sunday. Just
And I gotta watch
few
Friday
Cat is
again.
currently in the middle of his new stand-up comedy tour called the Great American
When
Tour,
was this?
a version of which will be coming to Netflix
This was 4 years
on
ago.
January 16th,
Crazy.
2018. He is also set to star alongside Ed Helms and Owen Wilson in Father Figures. That much-awaited film is due out December 22nd of this year. Cat, thanks for coming.
Yes, sir.
You're on the Great American Tour. What topics are you covering in this Great American Tour?
First, Larry, I'd be remiss if I didn't say what a great pleasure this is to be with you. I think you need to know that for a lifetime you've been an exposer of substance. And
Yes, sir.
my life was not going to be complete until I got to your table because I've spent so long trusting your opinion of people and things and situations. So
Thank you.
I have to start with that. As far as the Great America Tour goes, this had to
Damn,
be
man.
written last
He's a real
year,
dude.
and the tour prior to that was Conspiracy Theory. So we put out some things in that tour that we thought might happen, and this tour is just a reminder that no matter what America goes through, that's part of what makes us great. It's not.
So it's very topical.
I try to be if possible.
You write the whole thing out. It's no ad-libbing.
That's not true. I write it out, and then it's a constant race on the 100 city tour to get it as sharp as it can possibly be before we put it out to the masses.
Is the Trump administration easy fodder for comedians?
Not easier fodder. More, but not easier. As comedians, we like things to be on the fringes. And this is not a fringe conversation. This is a very mainstream conversation. And so it.
In other words, it's a parody of itself.
Indeed. Indeed.
So what do you parody when
Yeah.
he's a parody?
There you go.
It's a parody
And
of itself.
because he understands the rules of engagement, that's why he involved himself, and that's why he was sure he would win. If you build yourself on a philosophy that most people are stupid and then you win,
They're
there's not a
stupid.
lot of win in that.
In your act, do you run into
Yeah.
many Trump supporters?
I don't feel a different way about a Trump supporter than I do a Clinton supporter. We're all Americans.
It doesn't matter.
There are justifiable reasons why people voted for the guy they voted for, and there are justifiable
Yeah, that's
reasons
true.
why they didn't vote the other way. And when we can continue to not address what people's genuine concerns are because of how they look or what we have already preconceived about them, then we lose as a nation.
Do you sing in your act?
Never.
No. But you are a
Yeah.
singer and a rapper too, right?
Well, you are the things you try. That's just what
That's
most, the
wise.
most success you're having. But stand up is the lifeblood, and so I don't
love
mix
it.
anything with it.
Would you
Yeah.
say it was unbelievable history the other night when a white man elected in Alabama on the Democratic ticket in his victory speech quoted Martin Luther King Jr.?
No. In order to be involved in the things these people are allegedly or actually involved in, it means you have to have a lot of cojones. You have to be willing to do things that most of us would go, you don't do that. And so, because they lack that filter, it's not a big deal to ride in on a horse named Sassy as a pedophile.
But he lost,
Yes. Yes.
and the winner quoted Martin Luther King.
Yes, but understand
the hell was
this,
that?
this is not a right
Okay.
side, wrong side situation. This guy being ridiculously wrong does not make the other guy more right.
Right.
So how did you look at the election?
Like a great American. We are America no matter who the president has been. Were there good things about the guy? Yeah. Reagan, Clinton, Bush, these were not bums. These guys tried as hard as they could, and each of them had a different plan and a way they were going to attack things. But we are not our country. Our country is us. So whoever the president is, that directly affects us, and yet it does not. We're a great country because of the people involved,
So we rise
Yeah.
above it no matter who is president,
naturally.
except we're affected by who is president.
Absolutely. But we have to address why. And until we address why and keep trying to act like a portion of our rural population has a different thought process than the urban one, no, these are not the case. But they don't know that because they're never there in real life.
Has your comedy changed over the years?
Yes, sir. The worse my personal life is, the better my stand-up career
Because
is.
you've had some trouble with your personal life.
Well, it's not all been pleasant, but the effect on my product has not been adverse. So
So in
I've
other
learned
words,
as much
if
from
you've
the
had a
loss.
run-in with and were arrested or something,
Right.
and you're on stage the next night,
Yeah.
that makes the next night better?
You always ask the
No, it's
real
sad.
questions, though.
I'm an experimental person, and so a lot of times, in order for me to present the case, I had to do a real life experiment. My experiment found that wherever I was always the guilty party, no matter what. And nothing happens to anybody. As soon as we remove me from the situation is better. And so that was something I was trying to present on behalf of black people, and I got lost in my own experiment and fell victim to it. But these are the hassles.
Next, we'll take a look at Cat Williams' incredible career,
Man.
how he got started in the comedy
A real
business.
interview.
Plus, what are we going to
With
get
real
from
people
some film
involved.
Father figures. Stay with us on Larry King Now.
Let's go. Well, they actually put an ad. Was this always on YouTube, or was it just like was it always like just on some
Cat
TV
Williams,
network?
We're going to see him in Father Figures due December 22nd. The Great American Tour is in progress. How many states you going to?
We're at 100 already, so we'll be resetting soon.
Well, we only got 50 states. You're going to hit every state?
Well, you try to hit every state, all the major cities in the state.
Okay, you've had a successful career. Is stand-up, you've had a successful film career. Is stand-up still number one?
I believe stand-up will always be number one just because it cuts out the least amount of variables. It's really just the conversation between myself and the fan base with nothing in between. So I value that, but I am in love with television and film as well.
Were you a funny kid?
Not that I remember. My father was hilarious. I had a funny family. I just loved funny. I didn't ever remember anybody saying that that was a career choice for me or I had that potential.
You grew up in Cincinnati,
I was born in Cincinnati, but primarily raised in Dayton,
Ohio.
Ohio.
You remember your first stand-up?
Oh yes, vividly. I
Where was it?
It was in a place called Ruskin, Florida, and I was out with some friends who were older than me, and they decided they were going to a club afterwards. And I'm the youngest in the group. Everybody's of age, 21 or over, and I'm not. I'm 16. Nobody knows that. I'm already away from home. This is a big deal. We're in line, and I'm realizing I'm going to get here, not have the ID, and have to answer for this with my group. And then people are going past the line, and they're not standing in line. They're telling this guy, I'm a comedian, and they're getting right in. So I joined that line to be told, okay, you're number 5. That doesn't mean anything to me. I get in the club, and I find out this is a comedy competition, and I am comedian number 5. And
Wow.
you have to do 5 minutes. And so I got up and I just talked
Pressure.
about being the only black guy in a white town and what that was like for 5 minutes. And I won. But I won $25. And I remember thinking, I was pretty good at that. Too bad it doesn't pay anything. And I didn't do it again for 6 years.
That's a great story.
Oh,
Your new
yeah.
film, Father Figures, is
Yeah.
getting solid
That's a
reviews.
very good
You play
story.
a hitchhiker.
Yes.
Is it a funny movie?
Hilarious. The cast is
You got
Ed Helms and Owen Wilson. Like, you don't need anything else for a comedy. That will get the job done. The fact that there's Glenn Close and J.K. Simmons and Christopher Walken and Ving Rhames and Terry Bradshaw is overkill.
Christopher Walken's enough.
Yeah. Thank you.
Did you have fun doing that?
So much fun. A great set. Great director. Great script. It's rare when everything lines up.
First film in a while, right?
About 48 months.
Do you like playing someone else?
I appreciated the fact that I really had to be an actor on this. A lot of times,
Yeah.
as a stand-up comedian, the easiest thing to do is to bring that persona to a character, and yet on this one, it was necessary to turn him all the way down to 0 and then maneuver. So it was really
Very
good to be
funny,
able to
right?
act. Yeah, well done.
You've always played comedic roles. Would you want to try and tackle a serious role?
Yes, drama is always an important thing, but I'm a diehard comedy supporter. I take seriously the fact that comedy is the bastion of Hollywood, that if it were not for our genre, that it could not exist. It brings so much joy to the world. It is not to be viewed as a stepping stone. So I'd like to stay in comedy
Real
until I
guy.
finally feel like I'm always doing a great job.
Saying so many real things.
After the break, funny fan encounters, guilty pleasures, childhood celebrity crushes, all in the game of If You Only
You know-
Knew with Cat Williams. Father Figures will be out December 22nd, and I'll be there that day to see it. Stay with us.
I mean, people like that, man. They just ooze off like honesty, authenticity. You know, just being themselves, realness, and everything. I keep saying realness, but this, like, it just reminds me again that there's more to. In my situation, for example, there's just more to me than just what I say on the camera or what I think is gonna get millions or thousands or blow me up over the internet. There's me, there's the real me, and the real me actually thought, hey, I could watch this and react to it, and just watch it. I don't even need to say much because I want you guys to actually like see what I saw when I saw just a short clip of this interview, and we haven't even gotten to that part yet. So let's go.
Back with Cat Williams, the Great American Tour is in progress right now. And the film Father Figures, we saw that great clip, will be out December 22nd. We play a little game of If You Only Knew. You do not have to answer them, Cat. It's not a court, but we'd appreciate your answers. Who is your childhood celebrity crush?
Kim Fields,
Secret talent.
clairvoyant.
You're clairvoyant.
Yes,
Psychic.
yes.
Ooh.
That I did not
Person
know.
you trade places with for a day.
That I would trade places
Yes.
with for a day? No one.
No one. Weirdest job you ever had?
Um, Doing missionary work in Haiti, I was able to go to villages and teach mothers that if they would put salt in their water, their children wouldn't die from diarrhea. And so I
Jeez.
spent a year and a half in Haiti saving babies' lives,
Working for who?
working for the good cause, Larry.
I mean, that was a
The
job.
organization.
Yeah, no, no. This was
Volunteer.
a volunteer for a nonprofit.
Guilty.
Bruh.
Silence and the love of a good woman.
Biggest risk you ever took?
Adopting children.
How many have you adopted?
6.
6. Best compliment you ever got?
This guy's too real.
You're good enough.
What never fails to make you laugh?
People smiling.
Worst piece of advice you ever got?
Don't ever change.
Something you wish you were better at?
Dealing with liars.
Best perk of being a celebrity? There's no perk to be. Come on, Cap. You get online to nightclub. You're gonna perform. You're gonna go in first.
Yeah, none of that's because of celebrity, as you know, Mr. King.
Who would you like to be stranded on a desert island with?
An excellent swimmer.
That's the best I've heard yet.
Thank you.
Strangest fan encounter.
I met a fan and she explained to me very definitively that she was my biggest fan. And I explained to her that couldn't be the case. I've slept with most of my biggest fans. I tell her she wouldn't. Everything I said, she was like, no, it's really me. And then she reveals her leg and she has a life size, it's almost a tattoo of me that she has on her leg. And I then conceded that she was my biggest fan.
Did you take it any further?
No, out of respect for her and myself.
Something you long believed to be true but realized wasn't.
Well, as one of the main opponents of the Illuminati, I always wanted to know what information they had that we didn't. And I found out, I was always wondering how our God could have been so thrown off by a story of a tree and fruit. And then I found out that that's not the case at all. Adam was God's son, which means Eve was his daughter. And if they have sex, that ruins everything. And that's what happened. And that's a piece right there.
Excellent observation.
Thank you.
Tell me something we don't know about.
Dude, I gotta go back and watch that one. And listen
Secretly,
again.
I'm 6'1".
Oh my god. Secretly 6'1".
All right, where on the tour are you now?
He's crazy, man. He's crazy.
Finishing, just officially wrapping up with the special, getting ready to go to the next tour, and then just filmed a movie called 2 Minutes of Fame and a movie called Meet the Blacks 2.
So 2 minutes, 2 comedies.
Meet the
done.
blacks too.
Yes, sir, 3 in a row.
And the special is on
Netflix.
Netflix. Whoa.
I wonder why he
January
never.
16th.
Maybe he should show up
In
in
our
Joe
final
Rogan.
moments, Cat will answer your questions from social media. Don't click away on this edition of Larry King Now.
I wonder. I wonder if he ever would show up in Joe Rogan's podcast. I'm not sure, but I don't think it's. I think it's useless, but you know, it can be something fun. But that's them.
We're back with
That's them.
Cat Williams. The Netflix special airs January 16th. Father Figures opens December 22nd. He's got a lot on his platter. We have a couple of social media questions for you. Istvan Arvai on Facebook. Do you feel like Growing Pains accurately reflects the nature of some of the flashier troubles you've had in your personal or public life?
Even if the answer was no, I would say yes. This is a brilliant question from a brilliant person.
So does it reflect?
I will say yes.
Yes. Corey Anderson on the Larry King Now blog. Is there any comedian you would say your style of comic mimics?
I I certainly hope not. Most of the great comedians were great comedians before I started, and I really wanted to make sure that I wasn't a carbon copy of anybody else, even if that
Yeah.
meant I wouldn't be as successful. So I hope I'm an original.
When you look at other stand-up comics who came before you, who stands out? Who do you say, wow?
All of them. I'm really in awe.
Talking about Richard Pryor, Bill Cosby,
We are.
Alan King.
We're talking about those, and yet we're also talking about Mitch Hedberg and Dave Chappelle and Martin Lawrence, and we're talking about a lot of comics, Richard Jenny, and I didn't have a. I wanted to see who was the greatest, and I wanted to soak that in, and so I was honored to be able to come behind those guys.
Corey also asks, what do you do when you don't get a laugh?
Move on.
Well, it's difficult as a clairvoyant, but I don't put myself out there to be all things to all people. So I don't assume that everything I think funny, other people will think is funny. But I'm always after more than one laugh. I'm in a comedy conversation. So,
Do you ever have off nights?
yes, sir, all the time. And the job is to be as funny on those nights.
And that's a struggle. Isn't
It's always, yeah, always.
You have
it?
to
It'll
get
drive you
better.
Nuts. When it
Not
worked
if that's
last-
where you were.
If it
It's
worked
like
last-
training a muscle,
Right.
You gotta say to yourself, why isn't it
developing
working
a
tonight?
skill.
Yes, but the true answer is you're not who you were last night. And you better try to get closer to where you were last night. And once you figure that out, remember those are not the people from last night.
So it's you.
Always. Always.
Melanie Swift on the Larry King Now blog. Who is your dream co-star?
On the male side, Denzel Washington, and on the other side, Dame Judi Dench.
And Peter Roberts on Facebook. Your favorite way to relax at home?
He seems like he
I
relaxes
like
a lot
to-
at home.
Read a book in the hot tub.
Where is home?
I have a hat in California and a hat in Georgia,
Georgia, where in Georgia?
Atlanta,
And in L.A.?
right here in good old Malibu.
Malibu. You're traveling a lot, right?
Yes,
Are you're always on an airplane?
yes,
You get used to that?
no. It's an unnatural thing. The air is unnatural. That many people on a trip is unnatural. But
Strange to be flying, isn't it?
yeah, it is, but it's great. It's great. It's the best way of getting there, and it's its own
The
separate
fastest.
environment. You just have to deal with it,
Except for turbulence.
except for turbulence. But that's a killer.
Cat, thank you, man.
Thank you.
Big
Just
thanks
as
to
a-
Miss Cat Williams. Be sure to see him in
No.
Father Figures. It's out December 22nd.
I do feel like in the end there he was asking random questions and whatnot, you know. But it's still real. For some reason, Larry King is Larry King because of the questions that he asks or the interviewer that he is and whatnot. So I trust, just like Kate Williams, I trust Larry King's decisions in the questions he asks, you know. But anyway, I wanted to watch that because I thought Cat Williams is he's way more than just this guy that is funny. You see him in videos, you see him in stand-up comedy shows, you see him in comedy shows, But then it also reminds me that I think that's one thing that I think not Joe Rogan, not that he said it, but he made me realize that a lot of comedians are like really interesting. One of the most interesting people you will ever meet. One of the most interesting people that you will ever speak to or hear or listen to. And, this was a surprise to me. Like Cat Williams is really just different guy from what you would think he was now. I've never thought of him of any other way. I just saw him. I didn't see him much to realize that he is actually like this type of person in real life. So I just wanted to watch that for a second. But yeah, anyway, thank you for watching, man. Subscribe to Larry King, of course. God rest his soul. I believe he I don't know. I'm not sure he passed away, but Larry King is a very, very cool guy, man. And I hope you understand, where I'm coming from when I say that. But anyway, yeah. Anyway, goodbye, man. Goodbye. Adios.